Hey,
Hey, good morning.
good morning. How are you?
Good. Obviously, I'm doing well. We just talked to our group on Facebook and we told everybody, guys, come on over to YouTube. We've got some stuff we want to talk about our event we just finished up in the Salt Flats in Utah.
Man, it was so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
I put the title of our little chat here today. After 9 years of shooting on the Salt Flats, lessons learned. Right? You and we've been doing this for 9 years. We've shot out on the Salt Flats and bringing groups out there, and
Yep.
it's interesting because it is truly one of absolutely my most favorite things we do during the year. But it's not the easiest place to shoot, right?
No,
And
not at all.
you would think that after doing it for 9 years, we would have learned our lessons. but like, what did you learn this year? Like, what was your takeaway lesson that you could say?
Yeah, you know what? So this goes right into I just put I made a video when we were there and we just launched it about 3 days ago. I have been on this like journey of, you know, changing up how I modify light. And everybody that knows me knows that, man, I've always like the bigger the better, the closer, the softer. I love that look. But it also got to the point where everything starts looking the same and it would feel like things are like pasted in. Like
Yep.
we've even had that people have said like, oh, it looks like you're pasted into a background. And I never could tell you why. I mean, I could say, oh, it's lighting and it's just so good. But here's what I've come to find out is when you're outside, take a look at the background. If it's contrasty light, go with a small modifier because I can still get beautiful light out of a small modifier. And it's going to mimic what's going on in my background better.
So when you talk about small modifier, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, and so
how
here's
small?
what's funny. Years ago, we were working with a company that's no longer in business, Interfit Lights.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to make this 24-inch.
That was my favorite modifier ever.
Like, yeah, I thought you were going to cry the day you dropped it and broke. Like,
I broke it
because you called them and they said, we're sending you a new one. And I remember you coming on like one of these calls and you're like, Mark, look what they sent me. That's not the same thing.
Oh, it's totally different.
But they were like, oh, it's heavier duty. But it wasn't a matter of like the shape of that modifier. It was the light that came out of it was awesome.
It was magic.
So just over the last few months, man, I went from I love the Manny Ortiz beauty dish. But I you know me, the medium Octa.
That's the Westcott Manny Ortiz.
Westcott branded, the Octa M medium was my go-to light for everything. Because again, I'm like, I don't want to go any smaller. I want soft light. So they sent us out some of the Joel Grimes 24-inch beauty dishes, which you love beauty dishes. I like it if I'm doing a studio something and using it as a beauty dish. I've never really seen like it. Like, I don't know, it's just a small light. I used that for the first time. I remember you and I had Naomi after a workshop on the Gold Bridge in Sacramento. And you were like, Mark, I've been using this modifier, try it. And I remember shooting with it going, this is awesome. Because it was so punchy. It's still soft, but it gives you those more defined shadows, which matched what's going on in the background, which was very contrasty light. So again, out there over the years, I have like struggled because I hate hard light. Because that was the option was I'm either going to put my big softbox on or I'm going to put on the reflector. And I don't like the light that comes out of the reflector for the most part for me. And I know other people that they do fantastic with it. It just, for me, it feels very unforgiving. But not only did I'm getting the light that I love and without any spill on that salt, I'm also getting just a look that is fantastic. So that's my main takeaway is don't be afraid of smaller modifiers, right? And it's funny because every time we put a video out, what's one of the comments we always get? You should move your light closer so that it's softer. Like, okay, but if it's not, and I would have been the guy saying that 2 years ago, but I'm like, no, I'm matching what's going on. So the question goes back to you. What's your biggest takeaway?
I think it's
I scratch my back. Excuse me.
It's don't fight the weather, right? The weather is always challenging out at the salt flats. And, you know, what we usually do is like, oh, if it's windy, we can't do something, or if it's wet, you can't do something. But this time we didn't fight it. We just used it to our advantage. And in fact, like, let me pull up this picture real quick here. So I think this year we had the best model team, right? Like they were absolutely incredible.
They were best friends when they left.
They were.
Funny, I have some pictures. I have this exact.
So what's funny is like, I just pulled up this picture because it's not a perfect picture, right? I mean, most of them have their eyes closed. Ava's got this hair running across her face. Like, they still look stunning, but it's just like, it's not a great picture. But all that to say is we took advantage of the wind. Like it's always windy at the salt flats, and we had really good weather this year. It was warm, at least.
Yes.
But we had some windy times. But we did a bunch of flying dresses, and we actually had the dresses flying. We used it to our advantage,
and
it was,
boy, were they flying.
It was so awesome. And it kind of goes back to to your thing about what we did, as far as the small modifiers, right? Using that Joel Grimes Beauty Dish by Westcott. The dish itself is great because it so much less chance of it blowing over and destroying your equipment. So love that. But that was like the biggest lesson. I think we've fought the weather so much. And this year we finally, there was one point on our Saturday night session that we actually ended up skipping it because it probably 55, 60 mile an hour winds out on the flats. Rain started coming in, but we had
sideways.
Oh yeah. But it was so much fun by the time
people were shoving tissues into their windows to keep them from whistling and rattling. Yeah.
But we had a great time that evening just hanging out, and we did a review of pictures. But I think that's what, like, one of my biggest takeaways was just don't fight it.
I had said, like, the first year you and I went out there, Scott Robert Lim, he went out, we took him out there with Miss America or Miss International. And the wind hit. And what did we do? We like cowered and hid behind the cars, like, okay, let's wait this out. And we pretty much waited it out, and we lost a big section of time of shooting. This year, somebody was like, I got a long dress. It's like, bring it out. And man, it was fun. Just like you said, not fighting the weather. It's like, just let's do it.
Yep. Yeah. The other thing that I think I grabbed from that was like, so me and my 85 lens, right? I've got the Nikon 85 1.2. You have the same lens. I struggle with that lens, not because I don't like it. I struggle because I do like it so much that it ends up getting fixated to my camera. I have trouble taking it off because I just love the way it looks. But this time I was much more intentional about using a lot of different lenses and the right lens for the right shot, right? So rather than just going, crazy with one lens, like we had all those demo Viltrox lenses out there. That
huge sponsor. Again, big thanks to Viltrox. They were a huge sponsor of the workshops.
Yep.
And we say huge sponsors. You talked about our amazing model team. It costs a lot to put models up and feed them.
Yeah, they were
3.5 days, and
bringing out that,
man, and Westcott, those Cheetah Stand, those guys made that happen.
Totally, just incredible people. So this, but using the right lens. So what I did is we've been playing around with the new Viltrox Air series of lenses, right? Which are these small little lenses that weigh nothing. They're light as air. And we ended up doing some pre-workshop content where we go out to what's called the Blue Lake, which we go at during the workshop. But I had this vision in my head. Some people, I've shot that stuff in a lake with a picture frame, right? I envisioned doing that at the Blue Lake. And so, shooting out at the Blue Lake, I used that 50 millimeter lens.
And if you haven't seen it, there's a video I put out yesterday of you doing that. I mean, not you, but anybody watching. It's great to watch.
Like this picture here was shot with that lens. Let me add it. There we go.
Here's what I was going to say, including us, right? It takes a while to get past our ego, right? To say, I don't want to take this $3,000 85 1.2 off my camera because I'm important. I have a big lens.
Yep.
I don't want to put the little tiny baby lens on. But you and I think in the last, since last, when did we go and do PhotoCon Hawaii? We talked
3
there.
years ago.
It was a year, a year in February it was. So it's coming up on 2 years.
Yep.
I think that changed a lot for us of like, wait a minute, it's just about the right tool. Like, I don't care that you go, ooh, look at how fancy that is. I've gotten to that point where, okay, if I'm going to put a pancake on my camera because it's going to do the job,
yep,
more power to me. Like, I don't care anymore that you're going to say, ha ha, you're using a cheap lens because of these results.
Yeah. So this was taken with the Viltrox 50 millimeter 2.0 f2.0 lens. So, you know, I used to have a nifty 50, right? 1.8 Nikon lens. Mm-hmm. This is far sharper. The bokeh is better. And this thing is very inexpensive. You know, it's under $200 for this lens.
This but if people were watching and I said, raise your hand if you feel like you outgrew the nifty 50, like, yep, oh, my photography has surpassed that and I don't use that anymore. That was me.
Yeah. I normally don't like that focal length, but I've actually fallen in love with that lens, like this one too.
Both have.
Super sharp, incredible bokeh. Like, it's just really, really a great lens. I had so much fun, and I was actually in the water with Miranda here. I had her, it's about 10 feet deep right here at the lake. And so I had her suspended on 2 different pool noodles underneath using my floating frame. So she didn't have to try to tread water, which is impossible to do a holding frame. But that's the other thing that I think, you know, is a takeaway lessons learned was just how do you make sure that your model is safe? How do you take care of them? Like,
yeah. Because I've done some stupid things over the years. I look back at some of the things I've done in some like creeks and stuff with rapids, and like those dresses are heavy, man. Those are not. And then you start hearing the horror stories of people drowning, people's dresses catching on fire. Like, it's not worth it.
No.
So we had her like the U shape of 2 pool noodles. So she was like sitting, like if anybody, you know, does that in the swimming pool, you know, it just floats you. Otherwise, you're just gonna try to like struggle and then try to relax your face while you're struggling. So it was impressive.
And the other thing, you know, going along with that, the other thing that that I had said on that video that we just put out about this little adventure in the lake was that model safety, right, is important. But the second thing is you have to be willing to do whatever you ask your model to do. So I'm telling her, get in the water, float, hold up this thing. So I got in the water too, right, with my camera, you know, sitting there with her. So I didn't want to just.
When you guys were done, you were done. Like you knew that I'm getting cold, she's getting cold, even though the water is pretty warm. But
still, so I need to empathize with her, and you got to do that with your model anytime. And that's one thing that I think we've gotten better, because it's, as a photographer, you know how you and I are. Like, we just want to start shooting and we want to keep shooting, and the model's freezing or uncomfortable. Like, you gotta realize how uncomfortable they might be.
Yeah.
And so
we did a contest 2 years ago when we made all of our people take their coats, their beanies, all that stuff off. And we're like, for the remainder of this competition, you cannot put your coat or anything warm back on, because you're going to ask this girl all weekend long to keep one more. You need to know how it feels. And everybody was like, when we were done, lesson learned, coats went back on. And that whole weekend, like, they would go, okay, are you ready? Take the coat off. And they would shoot. And they'd go, cover up. Because you got a ballerina and it's 28 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, just one more.
Exactly.
When you empathize with that, then you start, like, it really changes how you treat, you know, the model.
Hey, do you have any pictures readily available that you can kind of show?
I do.
Like what goes on out there?
Yeah, like man, it was such a good time out there. You know, I should have known that I was going to pop on here, and I threw some in a link here, but now I seem to not know where. There they are. So let's see if I were to say present and share my screen.
We see nothing.
There we go. That should be popping up now.
Yep.
Oh, but you were, if I do that, let me get back out of here really quick. So, boy, this is just one of those typical, what's wrong with this guy? Why can't he present? I have to share my entire screen. That's what it is. There we go. Did that pop up now full screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, but you can see your other window is sliding in and out.
Okay, there we go. How about I pop that off there?
I'll
try not to look over in that direction. I have that bad habit. But so one of the reasons I chose this, and it goes directly to something you were just talking about. And man, it's just terrible getting old because you forget what you were going to talk about. But I know what I'm going to talk about here, and that is, equipment. So one of the things that we had brand new for this workshop was the FJ800.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's I won't say it because then you and I are both Westcott top pros. We're not saying anything negative, right? We had somebody come to our workshop who's an incredible photographer, and these are his words because he brought his FJ800. He said, "Guys, when I got this, I really struggled getting it. It's something to this effect." And he said, "It seemed really gimmicky to me. Oh, you're just going to get 800 watts. It's more power." He goes, "Let me tell you, it is my main light everywhere I go now." He's like, "I realized the first time I shot with it, there was nothing gimmicky about it." He's like, "Anything I wanted to do, I could do."
Yeah.
And those of you that don't shoot a lot, you shoot lots and lots of portraits outside in the sun, you might not know what we're talking about. But there are times when, right, you're wanting to slip into high speed sync and you're having to compromise and going, I guess I'll go to F4 because I'm just not getting the power out of my light. And I can drop below my sync speed, get more power out of my 400, which is an amazing light. But there's little compromises you had to make. F2, whatever it was. This light, I could shoot in high speed sync. I had enough power to where I had to back it off a bit, like for any situation. It's a light that I found. I'm right with this person. Sorry, Henry, to out you, but I'm right with you now. Right? It seemed like that to me as well. Like, what do I need an 800 for? It's one more stop of power from 400 to 800. But what a difference it made. Like this shot. Come on, it looks like nighttime, but that's the bright sun behind her. Like, and it's in my lens, and I was still able just to get enough with that really shallow depth of field, the kind of picture that I like. And it truly was that 800 made it easier.
Yep.
So just to make sure that people understand, when you were shooting Miranda, I grabbed this picture because again, I just was thinking through lens choices. That is something that you want to talk about, something that will change your photography. Start trying new lenses. Get used to using lenses. Like, could I shoot this picture with my 24 to 70, which is my workhorse lens? No way. It required super wide apertures to get that dreamy effect to it. This is another one just quickly of just, again, we were kind of playing, we almost had like this game. Somebody brought out this lamp post to put out there that was really fun. But as soon as I saw it, I went, guys, let's see who can get the sun like it's glowing inside, like lighting the lamppost up. I had it directly dead center, but the problem is if I moved it any further, then it just blew her face out. But this is one where I'm talking, the sun wasn't like down at the horizon. We still had like another hour before the sun went down. This is blazing sun, and that 800 just bang, popped right in there and brought her face back, which I couldn't have done that with a smaller light. There just wouldn't be enough. I just get this blinding, light back at me. So Again, if you've never been to the salt flats, this is just an amazing time. But so when I'm outside now, this is one of those ones that I would have brought my giant softbox out and made this creamy soft. But I think looking at this photo, there's a nose shadow there, which is what those things where I would just obsess with looking at 400% on editing and going, oh, I don't like those shadows. But guess what? There's shadows going on in the clouds.
When you look at her face, there would be a shadow, you know. So that's the thing that.
Yeah, it's matching what's going on, you know. Same thing, you know. This was a little bit of a harder, you know. I don't care. This is a good lesson that you and I learned from our friend Scott Johnson over in England, was the fact that we were like, Scott, don't you hate that rim of that the light spot on her nose and the light, because he's one of the most accomplished wedding photographers. And I remember turning to you, he's like, Steve, what do you see? You're like, light on the nose. He's like, yeah. And when you're on a bright sunny day, it's a bright sunny day. You're there to create an image of what's happening.
Yep.
And it doesn't bother me. You know, again, but it would have 2 years ago. I'd have said, this is a throwaway picture. This is that whole thing of like lessons.
And you look at it, go, it's not a throwaway picture. It's awesome. Like, it's really cool.
It's not. This is cool because we found water. Everybody's shooting one spot. I'm like, I see something reflecting. I'm going to walk out there. And we walked out there and it was like, oh my, everybody come this way.
Yes,
and there was this like mile long strip of, I think from the racetrack, they probably were just going in and out there. But, you know, again, another one, contrasty background. I don't need a big modifier. I could pick this apart and go, oh, I don't like the way this shadow's doing this or doing that. I don't care. It's a cool photo. And I think the light on the model matches the light in the background.
It matches the environment. Like, that is not a soft, lush, beautiful looking place, right?
No,
it's harsh, it's hard, it's rocky. And so, you know, the lighting, it looks very editorial, very, very much a match to what it is.
Yeah, this was 11 o'clock, right?
That's interesting about like the salt flats is that people, you think of, okay, you're going to the salt flats experience with, you know, panoptic photography, you're going to be on the salt the whole time. But we have lots of places that we go throughout that 3-day adventure that are off the salt, that are super cool desert locations, the lake, all kinds of different things. It's so much fun.
You know, again, now this one was one where I went back to my big softbox. Why? We put them in the shadow of this rock. I was able to darken this scene down. And then with my big softbox, I relit not only them, but I relit the background. So I created the light.
Yeah,
which it works. It's not contrasty in the background. It's the same light the background is on them. So like, again, I haven't become anti big modifier. To me, this is gorgeous light. But this is one of the reasons I chose this is really to talk about this is lessons, like this is photography 101. Hardest lesson to learn. I've been doing this for 20 years or so, and I still have to remind myself, because just what you said, I hate taking my 85 1.2 off my camera. It's really easy to point it somewhere at 1.2 and go click. Wow, that looks good. The problem at 1.2 with 2 people is Naomi's a little bit on the left, a little bit too close, or a little closer than Ava is on the right. And guess what's going to happen? My eye focus is going to grab Naomi because she's closest. She's going to be razor sharp. I'm going to zoom in on Ava and she's going to be out of focus. So it's one of those things that you've got to remind yourself all the time. As much as I love 1.2, 1.4, 1.8, I'm looking at f4 when I'm getting 2 people. That's probably more than that, but it's like I'd like to think I never go below that, right? But that's what I'm shooting for. Generally, it's about 5.6.
Yeah.
You know, but I can cheat it if I can move them close enough at f4, so I still have a creamy background. So again, just another lesson learned. There's the same one, you know, of our model team. What a great team. And then I'm gonna let you still have some more pictures to go through too, right? I feel like I'm
I got a few.
Yeah, good, great. So
So
another huge lesson. Again, these are all they're not things I don't know. And just like all of us, it's not that we don't know it. We just need something to spark us. Flying this dress. The night before, we had a little bit of wind. This particular night, this was our last evening on the flat because we got blown out the last one. But wind was blowing so hard, we pulled out the long flying dresses. But I took this shot because the night before, I had a 24 to 70. I was flipping dresses because the wind wasn't blowing for people. And our friend Michael, who came out from Texas, showed me a picture on the back of his camera with his 20 millimeter lens. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so much better than, it's not that it was a better picture than anybody else's, but it's like that perspective is epic.
mm-hmm.
So this night, right, I went to the bag. You were like, what are you going to use tonight? And I just reached in and I'm like, the 16 millimeter Viltrox, and after I saw Michael's picture, and so I shot these photos. I have pictures of it. I should have put one up there before I switched lenses.
Yep.
Because I knew that I was going to do that, but they're just like they're just okay. They're cool. They're like, oh, there's a girl on the salt flats. But a 16, I'm probably like 3-4 feet away from her in this picture. And that lens is amazing because look at that horizon. It's perfectly straight.
Yeah, that's what blows me away about that 16 millimeter lens is that it doesn't really distort, but it is blistering sharp, which you don't find that many, super wides that are that sharp. And this one is really, really sharp. It's awesome.
It was fun because Linda, who was at our workshop, one of our friends, the photographers that came out, I gave her the Viltrox, the Sony version of the 16. And we were like twins, like walking around all night. She's like, what are you going to do next? Well, let's go over here. And we would set up things with our 16 millimeter lens. Yep. She loved it because we both could get really close and not, bother people. Right. In a workshop, there's always that guy that's got the wide lens that's 10 feet in front of everybody. You're like, we should get done shooting so I could shoot. Yeah. So Linda and I were doing the in and out quick, trying to get stuff. But, and so, I'm going to end it there. I have some more photos, but you show me some more stuff here.
So I want to show you this. This was, oops, wrong button. I just did what you did trying to get it to load. There we go. So now I go here, I go here. One day we'll get it all squared away. Okay. No, so this image here, right? So of Mercedes, this bright spot on her face used to be like, I go, oh no, it has to be more even. And just that softer tone. But this, all I did was use the FJ800 to add the kiss of light, right? To fill in some of the shadows and not make that so it's completely blown out, right? That rim on her face. The thing is, it looks so incredibly natural because really that's what I saw with my eye was that bright spot on her face. And I just want to say that again, like, don't be scared of those things happening because when you look at the scene, you can tell it was very bright out there. So by adding light to fill in the shadows, but matching the ambient light and what's going on in nature is so important rather than trying to make this beauty portrait, right? Mercedes super strong. So I wanted to make it look bold, right? At the same time. So
there's time to make the beauty portrait, but you're going to have to either wake up earlier or stay out later, or wait for a cloudy day.
Exactly. So like if I go to the next image here, same type of thing, right? So very bold, very striking, but just, I love the movement. This one I took with the Viltrox 50 as well. Like, wow, what a lens. What an incredible lens.
Yeah. And I'm still blown away at how sharp they are when you zoom in. They're sharp.
Super sharp. So, and the color retention is fantastic. But I showed this one on purpose just want to show you like this shooting on the salt flats is unlike any place else in the world. You get this incredible reflection of light coming up from the ground.
Yep.
Right. So it fills in bottom shadows really, really well. Like, often you have to take some kind of reflector or reflective surface, whatever, to fill in those under shadows, like under the neck, up in this area.
Yeah.
Like, but
and this is you're lit with sunlight. Like this is like 11 o'clock.
That is actually, this was not a lit picture. It was lit by by nature.
And
But
you can see how even it is that, yeah, you get that bounce that's just filling those shadows in so nice.
But check out that thin line of focus, right? So this is again a 2.0 lens, but I think they're messing with people because it's got to be shallower than 2.0. Because like, look at the amount that's in focus. If you look down by her foot,
yeah,
I mean, it's probably a foot wide, you know. So it's killer. I just love. And then, you know, just again, the cool stuff we have using wind to your advantage, right? That to me, this photo, having her hair blowing away from her, tells this cool story just about, you know, I don't know why she would be sitting out there in a red chair with a little red table, wearing a red dress, wearing her pearls, but I just love that action of the wind. Otherwise, it's just the girl sitting there and just a little bit of salt, you know, on the bottom of her shoe. I just think it's a cool look. So
it's funny you keep saying cool. Like Angelique, the model, to me was very intimidating. Not like, oh, I'm scared. It was because she was so cool. Yes. I felt so uncool. Like look at that. Like just again, I can't express enough how good our models were.
Oh, they were all great, and they were some very strong women, that's for sure. I wouldn't want to get in a fight with any of them, but
no,
it was just awesome, so good. And then this is the same time you shot that other shot that you're just showing with the 16. I purposely had shot this darker than yours, and I have not edited this picture other than just downloading it so it's not the raw file. But the thing, you were farther over, so you got that cool sun, you know, beams coming up over here. But what I wanted to show this one for, this I shot with the Air 20. This was a 20 millimeter wide lens.
Yeah.
Which I am never in my life seen a lens that does not distort at 20 millimeters. This one is just,
it's under $200.
It is. It's under $200.
And that's the thing is, like, who wants to spend $1,200 because you once in a while take a really wide photo?
Yep.
You don't have to now.
No.
And there's no compromise on that quality.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, I think, man, what a bargain those lenses are. So,
and while we're talking about equipment, yes, this is going to be a commercial. The other thing that helped us out there's two other things, but the cheetah stands. If you've never used a cheetah stand, you're cheating yourself, right? No, it's so funny. We had our friend Mark out there, and he's like, I don't know, after like day 2, he's like, okay, I'm getting one of those. Right. And if you don't know what a cheetah stand is, right, you lift them up and the legs, they just collapse underneath it. You set it down, it pushes on the center, and they
retract. That sounds better than collapsing.
Yes, they retract. But here's the issue is, like, we would go, and again, our workshops are not everybody's crowded and 20 people, but there were times where, you know, something so cool was happening that we were like, guys, get over here now. The light's perfect. And so we had lots of lights close together. That cheetah stand, you walk in, there's other lights set up, you drop it down, and it just slides in between all the other legs. But that wasn't the best part. The best part is a lot of times you and I get it set up and we're like, here's what we want to shoot. And little by little, people are going, what's Steve doing over there? And they come over and they set their light by yours, another light. And next thing you've got 4 lights where yours is. You're done because you need to go set up another and help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be like, Chip, can you move your light? Richard, can you move your light? Like, now you just grab it, you lift it, and those legs just retract.
Yes.
And you move, and you're moving on. They're awesome. And if you're looking at a stand, the C12, you and I were talking about this morning of, like, we wish the 10-footer, the C10, had wider legs for a bigger footprint, for more stability, but you can't beat the stability of that 12-footer. It's just the issue of, we're like, if it was just, you know, that much shorter, it'll fit in my trunk, not to the front of my trunk. I could slide it to the back of my trunk when I put stuff in. But that light, or that stand, when you don't have one now, it's like not having your spider holster. You're like, what do I do with it? I see you just in the comments, you just put up the link. Yeah. But
Yeah, if you want to get one for yourself, like that's, since you're doing a commercial right now, you can, for any of the stuff that we talked about today, if you have any questions about it, give us a holler, shoot us a DM.
Yeah.
We've got,
we have codes for some other things that, if you think of something, just go, hey, you guys have a code for this? Because we probably do. We had a workshop code for one of our customer or one of our, let's say factories, one of our sponsors that it was 15 off, like for just the workshop, like unheard of.
So if you need any codes, let us know and we can help you out.
I have one more piece of equipment, but before I talk about that, do you have something you're thinking of equipment wise?
Mine is the other thing that makes everything work for me is my spider holster.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that I have ever used that makes my life easier than a spider holster.
Yeah. Or makes you so sad if you forget it.
Oh, if you forget your spider holster,
I did that not too long ago.
You're in big trouble.
I went out to the ranch that I volunteer at, that I do photos and video for, and like 2 weeks ago, I turned to my wife and I'm like, I forgot my spider holster. What am I going to do? I had to walk around with my camera in my hand the whole time, or I set it down somewhere. And then I did just like I always used to do. Anybody see the camera anywhere? I'm just terrible at leaving stuff behind.
Yeah. So that thing's awesome. How about you? You said you had something else?
Yeah. So this is going to lead into like something, but think tank bags, like, right? This is that brand new Focus Point bag. This is a beautiful bag.
I love that bag.
I'm going to tomorrow shoot some content for this thing. The newly crowned Miss Rodeo, Reading Rodeo, which is a huge rodeo in the rodeo circuit. We've had some historical things happen at our rodeo, but with the rodeo queen, we're going to make some cool photos with this tomorrow. But I took this and I used it at the lake. One of the issues for me, it's very narrow. So if you're somebody who doesn't carry a lot of equipment, like right now, I can look over at my open roller bag. I have 2 bodies, 7200, a 40 millimeter lens, an 85 that's on my one body. I've got another 15 to 30. I've got a speed light. I've got 24 to 70. I've got another pocket that's got all of my little video stuff in it. Like, it weighs like 50 pounds. That's why it's in the roller bag. Like, I can't fit that in here. I need a bigger bag. But this is what I was getting to. I'm working on something right now. You can see it's still in the packaging. Like, it's never been unpackaged. The problem that I have is, again, I bring too much stuff. And I know there's a lot of you that do the same thing. The issue about bringing too much stuff is it gets too heavy. And if I fill my backpack, I get to where it's killing me because I have this backpack that weighs too much. If I bring my roller bag, it's wonderful when there's concrete, but when there's salt or if there is, wet grass, then you're picking this thing up and you're carrying it everywhere. And it drives you crazy because you're like, yeah, I need my hands free to shoot. I don't want. This bag just came out. The Streetwalker Pro rolling backpack. Like, it's exactly what you and I have been talking about, right? Is like, if there's a way that my front light, which it opens from the front, all the backpacks today all seem to open from the rear. And I think they've convinced people that's good. It drives me insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to open from the front. And so I love that one. It's huge. This is a, what is this, 36 liter?
30
liters. So 6 liters smaller than my giant front light. But guess what? It's got wheels.
This thing is like the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
It really is.
Notice you don't see any shoulder straps. They've tucked them away. So when I want it to be a bag, I just pull this out like this.
And I know that you're just taking yours out of the plastic wrapper, but like you tried on mine.
Played with yours.
And it's a very comfortable bag to wear.
Yeah. So look at that. I have a backpack. And that's probably, I will use it most of the times as a backpack. But that is the reason, like every time we travel, it's like the craziest thing. I'm like ordering another backpack because I'm going, that one just doesn't work inside the airport.
Yeah.
Or my last trip to Costa Rica is there's so much times when I want to roll that thing when I'm, going through international customs and you've got to go from one, you're going through the airport for a mile. But when you get there, you're not going to roll this through the jungle. You're going to have to stick it on your back.
Yep.
Yeah. But then you get to a town and you're like, oh, I wish I could roll my backpack because I'm tired of wearing it. So it truly is the best of everything. So, man, take a look at the Walker Pro. Crazy thing is, like, not crazy thing. Think Tank, you won't find a code to get a discount. They just don't exist. They don't need to. But we do have a link that you'll get a free gift. And that's what they offer to people that use that. So if you use that code, generally you'll get some choices of like one of the cable management bags, which they gave every one of our attendees those cable management bags for our swag bag. Awesome. So okay, I'm done.
But hey, man, what a great time that was. We just wanted to show you some of the pictures we took and just let you know we are planning on doing the Las Vegas photo experience coming up in March, which will be another 3-day adventure. But yeah, it's gonna be a blast. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have for today. But love to have you out at the next adventure. But anyways, we learned a lot of stuff. We're constantly learning. And we'd love to share that knowledge with you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Live.
All right.
And so
it feels like kind of a letdown. Oh.
Sorry. But until next time, don't forget.
Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. That's right. All right. We'll see everybody.